Hello, warriors. Welcome to another episode of the Cleanse, Heal, Ignite podcast. Today, I am going to talk about natural beauty. And this is not just for the ladies. This is for the men too. We've got some stuff for you. Hair growth, skin rejuvenation, many things that you might tune out and think, I already got my plan covered. But you know that the work that I've been doing as a detox doctor and board certified doctor of traditional naturopathy, my goal is to help you guys literally take on the goals that you have the most, the things that you dream about. And in this case, youthfulness, rejuvenation, skin that's glowing, and then doing all of that without slathering your body with toxic chemicals that are extremely hazardous to children these days. There's a reason why the average baby is born with close to, if not more than at this point, since the last study, over 300 toxins in their body before they even had their first breath. We have a problem. And the problem right now is so many women are slathering these toxins all over their body. The average woman is putting at least 500 on her skin before she even leaves the house. And of course, these things become a part of us. They go into our bloodstream. You know, I talk a lot about the dangers and toxic implications of toxins, and especially a lot of these ones that are in beauty care skin routines. They are xenoestrogenic. They look just like estrogen. They drive up estrogen. Then we start having a lot of cancers and tumors, obesity, and then people need to have some sort of a large dose Ozempic from Western medicine in order to lose weight. But you guys, it doesn't have to be that complicated. You can have your beauty. You can have your body. You can have your brain and all the things in between. And today we're going to talk about an amazing skincare line. And I only bring on things when I am completely wowed about them. I think you guys know that about me at this point. This is a Korean skincare line. It is taking the world by storm. There are several people that have been reporting to me the results that they've had, including myself, and we're going to share some before and after pictures. So this is one that you can use not just for plumping your skin, but evening your skin. This is what I call foundational skin medicine. So you know me as somebody who's talking about foundational medicine, as in, why don't we start taking supplements when you guys are eating shitty food, right? We're going to talk about everything that is the main staples before you could truly illuminate these things. And this is exactly what this looks like for me as a skin. And of course, there's some people out there who will never change their diet, but this skincare line and this whole approach is still going to help you look beautiful, even if you're eating the crappiest of diets. So we're going to talk about this today. I'm going to bring on my friend, Dr. Stephanie Rimka. She is a bombshell. And I saw her speak at a medical conference. The title of today's show is going to be Fuck Botox and Fillers. Use this instead. And it's a lot more than just Botox and fillers. There's other crazy, gnarly procedures that people are dying from using these hydrogels that are killing them very rapidly, or really strange procedures where their faces are falling off, burning off. And I'm not saying this because it's a very small amount of the population. This has become a worldwide epidemic. So we want to bring on some safe alternatives because we are seeing the same type of Botox results, Botox-like results, filler-like results, without putting a neurotoxin into your body that paralyzes your nerves and kills them and they don't come back. Without putting fillers in your face, they're going to block the flow of poisons and pathogens that need to leave from your face so they don't end up in your brain and cause cancer, which we also have studies of. So you guys, this is now, the pendulum has swung and people are really stopping. The trend is to stop the use so much of Botox and fillers. They are down by about 25% in demand. That's why more people are prescribing more, because they are desperate in med spas, and we are seeing more deaths and complications because of it. All right, without further ado, let's bring on my sister, Dr. Stephanie Rimka. What's up, girl?
Hi, Diane. I'm so happy to be here. Man, that was, once again, you inspire me so much. That is so good. I just learned even more from you. So I like just that intro. I was like, yes, love it. I'm so glad you kind of converted me to this. This was not like a passion of mine, and now it is.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you for saying that, because you inspire me back. And I think that's like when I think about who do we want to fill our life with? You know, and what do we feed our face with? What do we fill our mind with? What do we fill our schedule with, right? And what do we fill our bottles with? And so, is it toxic or is it tonifying? Is it life-giving or is it life depleting? And You and I met, and I'll give you guys a little of the backstory, but Dr. Rimka and I met at a medical conference. Last year, I spoke at an ECO, which is a summit that we've got like 1,200, 1,500 health practitioners, doctors from all around the world that come together. And I spoke and I beat the drum on the problem, right? We have to know what the beauty blockers are. Like, you're trying to build your beauty, but these things that we are programmed to think we need, and like even teenagers now take Botox as a preventative to get skin wrinkles. Like, are you kidding me? Sure, might make you look a little bit smoother, but in the end, the insides of your body are dying very quickly, and it's a neurotoxin they use to kill people in the Gulf War. Anyway, can we do this without all of those poisons? So I was on stage. She had a girl crush on me this last year. I went to ECO. I had a girl crush on her, and it was just like boom. So this is the kind of electric connection that I want for all of you out there. I mean, Rimka is like, whenever I hear her talk, I'm like, go, go, go. It's like she's on the goal line, like every word she says. So this is how she speaks. This is how I like to speak. And we want to educate you guys on something that's really changed both of our lives, me in a short time, but Dr. Rimka in a longer time. So Rimka does a lot with peptides. She does a lot with beauty and skincare now. And so I want you to just introduce you to the audience first, and then we'll get into the things that can help them.
Yeah, awesome. Well, yeah. So your talk, I'm not into beauty, right? It's not been, I actually worked really hard my whole life. I wasn't a good looking little girl. I wasn't pretty. I didn't think of myself that way. I was kind of like, I wanted to just be smart. So my shtick my winning formula I developed as a little girl was, I'm just going to be really smart and really strong, and I'm going to dominate and crush everybody. And so pretty was not my thing. Little girl, I was a super tomboy. I played on the boys football team. I played, college sports. So that wasn't my thing. And it wasn't until much older, on a photo shoot at one point, that I saw images and I realized I look like that. Like, I didn't know I was actually attractive until my 30s. Okay. And so my identity isn't that. And I worked really hard to not be known for my face. And I know that might sound strange to people now because I'm generally regarded as attractive, but that's not my identity. So I actually avoided everything beauty, sexual, sexy. I just didn't want to be known that way. I dressed very androgynously. I would hide my body, So the fact that I'm here now in my 50s it's part of a whole transformational process of me diving into my own feminine and embracing my femininity, embracing sensuality, sexuality, which is a wonderful journey I've been on to soften, to like feminize myself, because women have had to become very masculinized in this world, right? And I've enjoyed that journey. But part of that process is all this girly stuff that I just wasn't into: skincare and hair and makeup and heels and dresses. And, I just don't care. I hate shopping. But I do want to look good. I do want to look pretty, right? Your talk on, breast implant illness and Botox dangers, I planned on not even being in the room. I was like, this has nothing to do with what I do. So what do? I specialize in neurological disorders. I specialize in mental health. My primary patient base for the last 25 years, autism, schizophrenia, bipolar, suicidal ideation, ADHD, depression, right? That's kind of my big shtick. I started in a mental hospital with schizophrenics, so alcoholics and also drug addicts. These are huge passions of mine. And my nephew was diagnosed with autism when I was in grad school. So that kind of, made me focus on that. So this is all I care about. That's what I've been doing. So that's what got me into gastrointestinal health. That's what got me into genetics, and everything in between, and neurological repair. So I'm board certified in neurofeedback as well. I do a tremendous amount of electromagnetic therapy. So I use electricity, light, magnetism to restore and regenerate brain tissue and bring proper function and reverse and eliminate these diagnoses. You can reverse schizophrenia. I'm not allowed to say the C word. No one can say C-U-R-E anymore. So I'm not allowed to say that word, but you take it for people had a diagnosis when they no longer have a diagnosis. And they were this on the drugs, and now they're not. And many of my patients that were called schizophrenics and hospitalized. They are now physicians, PhDs, college professors. Some are just truck drivers. I mean, I keep in touch, you know, because these are, I love my patients. I mean, helping a child walk and talk again these are the things I'm most proud of. And I've done it hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times, you know, probably thousands actually at this point. So I'm here to say that you can reverse everything if you give the body a chance, but most of these conditions are, you know, toxin damage issues. And so that's where I have to come in. Like, I have, you know, you can't, I have to heal the issue, but I can't allow more poison to come in. Your talk. So I was always looking at the products. I'm looking at the food. I'm looking at the thing. I haven't used antiperspirant and deodorant in 30 years. You know, like I don't use even shampoo. Like I haven't used normal products, and I'm very particular about what goes on my skin. I try to get the cleanest I can get. And usually it's Australia, because the Korean products have been harder to get in America. I didn't know so much about the Korean stuff. They keep it a little bit to themselves, like the Russians keep the peptides to themselves. We just now are getting all the Russian information. You know what I mean? Like, you know, countries kind of sequester their stuff for themselves for a while, which is fine. So your talk made me look at things that I was seeing in my practice. I didn't ask about Botox that much, you know, like, and I started putting the pieces together. We revamped how I did my intakes, and lo and behold, I wasn't understanding how much these cosmetics, because I don't get Botox, I don't get fillers, I don't do those things. So I like didn't understand that this was, I didn't know they were being marketed as 20-year-olds. I didn't know the 25-year-olds that were coming in with panic disorders and self-mutilation disorders had gotten 50 units of Botox last month. I just didn't even think that was a thing that was happening in the world. That's how delusional. I don't own a TV, haven't in 30 years. So I'm just myself out of the matrix of what people are doing. I just every now and then have to remind, what's happening? What's like, I don't know who these people are. You have to tell them, like, what's a Kardashian? Don't give a shit.
What's a Kardashian?
Like, I don't, you know, like that woman with all that plastic surgery, that's what we're doing now. You know what I mean? So I'm just giving you an idea. I really don't know stuff. Like, I have to be reminded of like other people. I've been in a bubble for a long time of the holistic. I'm a 35-year anti-vaxxer, you know, like this is not new to me, you know? Yeah. So you made me start asking these questions differently and looking at patients differently. And sure enough, turns out much of the what is that? Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. Much of the ear damage, the deafness, the tinnitus, the Meniere's, vertigo, other issues were coming from the Botox. But I didn't put those pieces together that much because I wasn't asking. I knew about the breast implants. I was having a lot of those patients. I've been the doctor that's been the first to tell them it's this. They were coming for panic or anxiety, thinking they needed neurofeedback. And I'm like, let me show you the timetable here. You do not understand. Like, it's amazing how people can't see what's right in front of their face, because, you know, that's a hard decision to say, you did this to yourself and we have to do this thing to reverse it. Like, you have to have surgery to reverse it. And then I got to detox you for a long time. That's a tough thing, you know, to hear. So anyway, it's changed how I've seen things. And it's definitely created me on more of a mission to explain this, because there's not only the toxic implications of what it's doing with the mental health issues because of it crossing the blood-brain barrier, what it's doing in terms of people's relationships is devastating. And I'm happy to talk about that in a second in terms of the neurologic, the way face-to-face social engagement is so critical to our mental health, and how there's only two things that go into us being able to play, and face-to-face, you know, engagement is part of it. So the ability for us to bring on the social engagement neurological system that's hardwired requires us checking in with faces. And the other part of play is motion. And I think some of the things we're lacking the most in this world are people who know how to play. And, you know, I'm a trauma specialist. That's a big part of what I do. And part of my lectures, I lecture on it next weekend, of how play and pleasure are really the antidotes to healing trauma. But that's not what's being leveraged. It's like, let's talk about the pain and go back into the pain, and trauma. And talking about the trauma creates more trauma. And everybody thinks it's like this label of my PTSD and my abuse and my this, and they take ownership versus, when's the last time you laughed? When's the last time you played? You know, I know this is why pickleball is taking off, because it's allowing adults to play again. And they're just like, it's so fun, you know, because.
And cornhole.
What?
And cornhole.
Right. Yeah. So I'm concerned about the children being parented by these women with frozen faces who no longer are picking up any social cues because because her autonomic nervous system can't control her face anymore because it's paralyzed. And we're giving off hundreds of subtle social cues from neurological control of these muscles. Face-to-face contact with another human, when we're looking at each other face-to-face, I want people to change how they think about it. That is a neural exercise. Mm-hmm. It requires tremendous neurological control that is constantly inhibiting your fight and flight response, right? And that's happening based upon what the face can do and the subtle gestures and the subtle motions that are coming up because of this. So learning to do that actually creates, like, we know posture changes neurochemistry. We know standing in the power pose, right? The Superman or Wonder Woman pose for 2 minutes before you talk completely changes your physiology and actually does give you more confidence going in to do some activity. That's a studied fact. And so, you know, it's a simple thing we can teach ourselves and our children to do. Well, the face is doing the same. So by these women paralyzing their faces, one, we now know, so you can't control what's happening. It's flat. The child your baby, your children looking at you no longer can understand what you're feeling. So you've eliminated their ability to learn how to read faces because you're not giving normal facial impression. They can't tell if mommy's sad, mad, glad, afraid. What is that? And so they're not learning how to do it. Their mirror neurons are being set off the wrong way. They don't know which emotion to feel. And we now know on the mother's hand. So the child has been damaged now, right? This is damage to that child, neurodevelopmental damage. And those are not being able to read people's social cues, read the faces, know what they're feeling. Autism. So sometimes I wonder how much of these diagnoses is the child actually damaged from a poison, or is it just mommy's face is frozen and the child hasn't been able to read anything because they can't see normal facial movement anymore?
It's such a great point. I've seen
and then the moms, then we know her brain can't do empathy the same anymore.
Right.
So now this mother can't feel and read into the baby anymore. What is happening to the most primary, important bonding safety relationship that we all need? It's disconnected. It's acute disconnectedness. So how is that child supposed to develop and feel safe in the world? No wonder all these children have so many panic disorders now.
Right. And fear. And I mean, it's the first thing I noticed, and it made me so sad to think that, you know, I love plant medicine too. And I did a ceremony one time, and I was in this space where I was brought back to when I was a baby, and my parents were looking down at me, and they said, "Oh, it's Jesus," and I was like, "Whoa!" But I felt that, and then I also was able to realize that it felt so special to me, and I was crying, and it was so much, like, just an abundance of joy and oxytocin. Yeah. And I realized I could see the expressions on their faces that they were so excited to bring me into the world. And that's like your first moment that sets the stage for the rest of it, where I felt safe, I felt welcome, I felt love, and I felt connection. And so I kept thinking about that I work with quite a few autistic children too, and a lot of their mothers were doing a lot of artificial work on themselves. One had breast implants when she delivered her baby, and was doing a lot of facial fillers and Botox. So that was when I lived in Orange County for 10 years. So I got to see a lot of autism there. And then I also did some analysis as well. And we'll bring it back to beauty, you guys, because that's what's going to come up next. Because as you can hear, Stephanie's background, or Dr. Rimke's background, this is why she's doing what she's doing, because she's realizing that a lot of these poisons are actually blocking our body's ability to use our brain and connect with each other and emote and receive. Like, we don't have an infinite loop of giving and receiving and regenerative energy and spirituality when we can't even read each other. So, of course, like, one of my autistic, they're actually twins. And I found out that when I did deeper, because I feel like clinicians can only help their patients to the degree that we're asking better questions. And that's what I said on stage that day is I want everybody in this room to add do you use Botox, and when do you use fillers, and when do you have breast implants, and when, and did you have them taken out, and how long have they been in? All of those questions, because it's such a big contaminant for our wombs, and kids are quickly moving into what feels like their tomb, because even in their first couple of years. And when I found out there was like background health histories of, okay, did you have silver fillings in, mom? I ask a lot of questions in the health history about mom, like, did you have silver fillings in? Did you have Botox? Like, and now we could ask those questions. Back in the 1950s, before, it wasn't happening as much. Now it is. And I discovered that 2 generations back were mercury fillings and vaccines. So grandmother's like, yeah, I had silver fillings. And so the babies keep getting dumped generationally. And we can put a stop to this. If we don't right now, then we're absolutely screwed when it comes to actually having emotions and being able to connect with each other. That is the agenda to take us into robot land. That is the agenda to turn us into transhumanistic cyborgs that don't know how to emote. We're taught how to feel because some bullshit device is going to text us and tell us, here's what you should think. So it's a slippery.
Well, they already have them, right? Your little smartwatch is supposed to tell you when you're supposed to eat, when you're supposed to think, when you're supposed to fart, when you're supposed to do. I mean, like, that's part of all these smart devices. I'm super anti. I'm like, they're desensitizing you. The next step is just to put it in. And now they have, isn't technology amazing? I'm like, are you guys doing? Are you not? It's like this blend. I get it. It's like on this bridge between ancient technology, ancient wisdom, and technology. Like there's a place, because listen, I do like air conditioning. I'm not gonna lie, but it's like we've done this deep disservice, and now because they've damaged so many and turned the attention to, attention is on an object, not a face. Exactly. Attention is on, and that's where, again, beauty does matter, because how you feel about yourself changes these subtle unconscious cues about how your face looks, like about how. So when I feel better about myself and I have to go to the grocery store, I look at people differently. I move differently. We all notice, like, when you feel like you're sick or you look like crap and you're in there trying to put a hat on, you're trying to, like, I don't want anybody to see me.
You're hiding.
I got a big old, like, I'm broke. I have a breakout. I have eczema. I have psoriasis, whatever these, things are that we all deal with, and our insecurities, and we all want to be attractive. I don't care if you're a 60-year-old man, everybody wants to look good. Everybody wants to be sexy, So when you have that, you behave different. And then, so your whole energy to everybody else is different, and it impacts everybody. Like, we are energetic beings. And so and again, the face, and again, it wasn't when I had to really reframe why beauty matters. And it really does, because beauty is a concept that is felt. You don't think beauty. It moves the soul. Like, it will shake you. People will stop at the beauty of a beautiful face, at the beauty of a baby. It's like oh my God, you're stopped at the beauty of nature, of animals. We've all seen, like, the butterfly or the bird, and you're like, oh, look at that. It's awe-inspiring. So the body is neurologically hardwired to stop at beauty.
Oh, okay. And I have something to say about that, and we got to get in the product.
Yes.
Left. So when I think about that, it's like a butterfly, for example, and there's been butterfly themes this whole last couple of days, because I went to say goodbye to my dying grandmother the other day. And, you could see on somebody who's dying, the expressions on their face, which were the emotions that they were carrying their whole life. And she held a lot of judgment and anger and grudgery. And so I tried to sit on her deathbed and hold her hand and rebuke things and pray for her to let go of these angers. And she still is a physically beautiful woman. Like, her skin is amazing. Because she was eating all natural foods before that are now considered weird foods. That's how you and I live. And that's the stuff we're going to slather on our face. But that was an interesting moment for me to see. These were the values through which she shared with the world, is that she was afraid and she hid. And we want you guys to not feel like you need to hide. I mean, the reason you're hiding is because you don't feel good in your own skin.
Yeah.
And sure, if there's blemishes or eczema, which is super common since so many people got the jab, and there was the trypanosoma cruzi parasite in there, and many other things like the graphene oxide and the hydrogels that your body is trying to detox out. So our goal is to help you at least start with these things. If you're not like, Diane, I want to do a cleanse and I want to, fix my whole life. Well, let's start with this at least. And then you might start to self-care more from the inside. Sometimes people's gateways are a little bit different.
Absolutely.
A butterfly is sharing its beauty no matter what it looks like. And that's what we want you to be able to do. The more we're sharing beauty in the world, which means the more that we're sharing our inner beauty too, this is how we can illuminate love again and take us away from the frequency of fear that dominates and controls us into thinking that we need some bullshit thing to freeze our face.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. So you came to me and you said, Diane, you need to get this shit out to your audience. And I was like, another skincare line. But then I was like, wait a minute, hold on. Beauty Counter just wanted a business,
Yeah. And this is so much better. I was like, this is your whole brand.
Yeah.
And I know it's so hard. I know what it's like. I don't like to bang out a problem for people and not have a solution. That's the worst.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like people are left with, so am I even allowed to breathe anymore? Because now there's like, you can't breathe the air, you can't drink the water. Like when we go to Cellcore and we do echo, it's like, sometimes you're like, we're screwed. You know, you just was like, how much poison is in me at this point? How much lymphatic massage can I do? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, what are we going to do? So I at least want to offer, we want to have solutions and, people, clean products. Listen, so I've been 7 years carnivore, right? So I'm in the carnivore community and that group is like super extreme sometimes. And they just want to put beef tallow on their face. That's fantastic. Listen, if you just want to use beef tallow or castor oil on your face, knock yourself out. Both those things happen to break me out really badly. So I don't respond well to them. And I've had many other people say the same thing. And beef tallow and castor oil, however, are not going to reverse all your scars, make your acne stop, and make the wrinkles go away and get the puffy bags gone, like what this is doing. It's insane. So there's, if you want to do that, most people say, well, is it like, well, listen, mama, that is cleaner. Like you want to just put coconut oil on your face, knock yourself out. Like I'm cool with that. I'm not trying to convert you. If you're good with doing nothing and you just want to put, some tallow soap, okay, that's fine. But I'm talking people who are using products and they're using department store things or Target or worse, or even these really expensive L'Oreal, Lancome or Chanel brands. Then you have this other group that they don't care what they do. They're doing Botox and fillers.
Yes.
I'm talking to these people. And if I can get these people, I had about 15 people at this conference just come up to me based on, I only had an 8-minute little speaker spiel. I was part of a whole panel of doctors. I didn't have a long time. And I had about 15 people come up to me in a group of two, when they could catch me and say, you just made me change my decision. I will never get Botox again.
Yes, Stephanie.
I know. I cried like almost 3 times. Like I was about to do it. You just changed my life. I will never. I can't believe it. I had pharmacists come up to me, physicians say, thank you so much. You have no idea.
I'm so sad I wasn't there.
I was like, oh my God. So partly thank you, because you were the first person that I heard that educated me. And I did add that to every one of my intakes. That's one of my beginning to apply for services in my practice. You've always had to tell me about vaccines and stuff like that.
Right.
But the breast implants and Botox are part of the whole intake because I want to know right from the get-go what I'm dealing with. Right. Yeah. So it's been a game changer. So it's something I talk about and I take it back to neurological health. I take it back to in connection. I take it back to humanity. I take it back to us sharing love with each other. And how are you supposed to do that if you can't be with people's space? And part of your doing that is because you're ashamed or embarrassed. And when you can get rid of it, I've had so many women come up to me, physicians, PhD, go, Stephanie, I've never felt this beautiful in my life. I can go out without makeup. I never thought in my 50s. And
my products?
Yes, after using RIMAN. I had a testimonial last night in my private VIP group. This woman, she said, well, I'm going to tell you what happened with my husband. And he had psoriasis really bad, and it was making his beard come out. She goes, we've been using the shampoo and the conditioner and the serum. It's all he's been using. She goes, it's 100% resolved. It's in a month. It's all gone. She's like, he's happy as can be. He's like, I'm back to being myself. He was hiding out in the house, embarrassed. Men feel ashamed of losing their hair and flakes and all kinds of stuff happening too. And so she gave the greatest testimonials. She's like, well, this one and this. I went, seriously? And she's like, yeah, it's all, she's like, and he's stealing it from me. He doesn't want to share it. I was like, okay. So, you know, person after person was just, that wasn't what the call was about, but they couldn't stop from sharing, you know, about all their hair growing back because they lost so much hair from, you know, long haulers or, you know, jab related problems. So it's more than just, they have skincare, they have hair, it's skin regeneration, it's hair regeneration. And there are a nutraceutical, there's a couple nutraceuticals. So they are coming from the inside out because they're understanding, you know, your digestive tract is basically skin tissue, right? It's an open orifice, it's a hose, and everything from my mouth to my anus is open to the external environment, right? So the skin and the GI tract are very, very similar. They have a different biome, a different set of bacteria and yeast and things on them, but they need to be treated the same. So we do have some nutraceuticals to help with that, to come from the inside out as well. And our products penetrate so deep. So we are coming from really deep inside and we're from outside and coming inside. But many, many people, like you said, it takes a while to change their way of eating. It takes to change their lifestyle, to change how they're sleeping, to detox. Detox is a very long process, and it's a lifelong process, right? We're just helping get the system going. So for them to get some immediate relief is very helpful and very encouraging, you know? So this is what the topicals will give. I'm like, I tell them this isn't a solution. Like, I need it. We have to heal your gut, but let me start this. And it just makes such a difference, you know, of how they feel about themselves. And then the behaviors will change and how they engage with the world.
Yeah. And you guys, we're going to go a little bit over. Okay. So we normally cut these at 30 or 31 minutes. So we've actually teased out the problem a lot and how we came together and why it's so important that you consider another way. And I will be honest, I use the beauty care products from the beauty counter, and they were great. They made my skin feel a little smooth and everything, but I was still very dry. So this whole concept of RIMAN has completely changed the way I'm looking at, you know, one thing that Dr. Rimka said to me on the phone is, you've got to change the way that you look at skincare and let go of everything that you thought was skincare, which would mean washing your face, rubbing it off with a towel, you know, slathering some creams on, dermal rolling, like maybe those things I could still do. But anyway, I just want to share what I've done so far. And so I'm going to share a couple pictures first. So it does take a lot to share your naked face, right? So Paula, if you can put on the screen my before and after, and you might think to yourself, well, that's not that big of a result. That's not that much.
Well, one, it was only 3 days and I told her 5, but she got excited.
No, it wasn't. I got excited. I had to leave the house and travel.
Oh.
So I couldn't do it. I was like, shit, I can't fit these in my carry-on and then I was like, screw it. I'm going to actually carry these with me and pay extra, like $200 extra to check in my bag because I want to take these with me because they're so phenomenal. So if you can see there, like, Stephanie, can you see any difference?
And what we can do is help blow it up. Well, I can definitely see, I mean, whatever those are called. Like that's a huge difference.
The jowls.
You know, yeah. See, when we just do it side by side, and we like to blow up on little lines. Oh, I can see definitely the forehead too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling you, wait till you use it. This is part of what we do is like you just use 5 days, you'll be blown away. Like take pictures for 5 days, you'll see. Then 7 days and 10 days. The changes are remarkable. I mean, I know we have some other ones that we can see.
Let's show the other ones too. So Paula, if you can show, there was another angle of me. Okay, so even right here.
Oh yeah.
Were very skeptical on when I posted this on Instagram and we're like, there's no way that you can get rid of this hagging skin underneath the neck, the turkey neck type thing with just products. You have to go in for a procedure. But I even noticed that mine has gone down in just 3 days. I know. So, and then you can keep
regenerative. He has done something you just can't believe. I know this woman. This is real. Like these are not just random people, you know. I believe that one was like 30 days though, you know, I think at least, or something like that. But they have different time frames, and so I'm not sure of what, you know, which one is here. But typically they're 10 days. That's a 10-day. You can see all that inflammation down, plumping up, filling up. You can even his eyes. Even you'll notice like the upper lid. Okay, sometimes it's like it looks like people have had upper, you know, blepharoplasty because it's bringing so much inflammation down. This plant called Byung Pool. It's tiger grass. It has many names. So tiger grass, it's this plant, centella, that these tigers roll around in because it heals them after a fight. And so it has these super regenerative healing properties. And so it's a very common ingredient used in skincare products. So that's not what's unusual about this. It is what it can do. What's unusual is that there's this protected volcano on Jeju Island. That's Judy. She's 74, I believe. And that's a month. Okay. I was just with her this weekend. I have picked, like, I know these people. These are not strangers to me. Okay. She's 74. That is her skin. I'm the one who cropped that picture together for her. There's an acne. It's a little blurry, but I think this maybe is 14 days on that going through. So it works on, it's super anti-inflammatory. So what he did was with this special water. So Jeju Island is a protected sanctuary in Korea, and there's a volcano there. And he's one of only 6 people in the world that are given permission by the Korean government to go in and get this water that has been infused from radiation from a volcano. So I don't know who knows about like the vapor canopy theory, but like with the superheroes, or the cycle of the earth has gone through these vapor canopy issues, and radiation causes things to grow very big and very fast. So the idea, the myth of the Titans, Greek mythology, well, it may not be any kind of mythology, because we really were this big when we were in vapor canopy time. So the bugs and everything, like, were they really dinosaur? Things just get really big, because of the vapor canopy. Well, radiation has infused this water. So they call it Jeju lava frequency water. It has super resonant frequency. He grew the plant in the water and made the plant grow 5 times as big. And now his Byung Pool, instead of only penetrating into the second layer of the dermis, it's the only one in the world that can go into the 3rd layer. So it goes much deeper, right, than any other centella. He owns the patent on it. So he changed the plant without GMO, without hybridization, by simply growing it in this special water, that he's the only person who's allowed in the world to use it in cosmetics, skincare. Mm-hmm. The other stuff is being researched for other things. He's one of only 6 people. It's a very protected place.
Well, see, look at that. Wait, go back to that one right there. That's the one I want to stop at, and then we've got to get wrapping up.
Just want to give you, there's these 2 very special ingredients, and he's got some other ones, but there's over 20 patents on the ingredients alone that none of us here have ever had on our skin unless we went to Korea. You know what I mean? That's why it's like, it does freakish stuff. I was like, what is this freakish stuff doing to me? And it's not toxic. It's not, because it's stuff we've never seen. He's a genius formulator. He's the #1 formulator in Asia for 30 years. He does it for Chanel, L'Oreal. He makes all their they're all buying his stuff. Okay. So instead of him selling it to them, he said, I'm just going to hold it for my own company and keep it at a good price, because it's 5 times the results of everything else, but he didn't charge 5 times as much.
Which is amazing, and it's affordable. You guys, this is not that expensive. So I want you guys to check this out. There's a couple tickers that we have on the bottom. DianeKazer.com/RIMAN. That's where you can go to shop some of the products that we offer. The other thing that you can do, and we are flying down below on the ticker as well, if you want to take the skin quiz to give you an idea for what kinds of products might be best for you, you would go to DianeKazer.com/skin quiz.
And let me make it really easy. I'm going to tell you guys, they have 2 product lines. Do not get confused. Okay. Basically, we always say 90% of the people should start with the EX line. I think 100% of people should start with the EX, or the expert line. That is the primary line. It works on hydration, right? It's more frequency, the water, it's more water-based, right? And it's incredibly, it's good for sensitive skin. It's very gentle, right? It's past the German derma test. Like, it's what the most, and it's what's sold the most in Korea. The second line is the RAD line, the Radiant Som. It's the cosmeceutical grade, it's the more professional line. That's the newer line. It's more intense. That's the one that's microfluidized, 100% liposomal, and it goes really deep, and it's more moisturizer. So it's more oil-based. The EX is more hydration-based. So if you have super dry skin, or you're like 65, 70 and up, we know you're probably going to go to the RAD line, but we really think you should wait 2 to 3 months to start transitioning into it. It's deep. It's the one that will go deeper and potentially start purging things out. So every time I've used it a little bit, I will break out. I will go in and find the agitation in my deeper layers and help purge it. So if you use Retin-A or Winstrol or some other things, it's always a purging. They tell you it's going to get worse before it gets better. So the Radiantsome line should always be something that's added later. And most like 30 and 40-year-olds will never use that line. You're going to use the EX line. And the more you use of it in the ritual that they do, so the K-Beauty ritual is about mothers teaching their daughters how to take time to love and adore themselves, turning a routine into a ritual, taking a routine and giving meaning. So if you start to wash your face and do this in a way that you're loving and you're like lymphatic massaging, like, oh, I'm just doing, it's like a completely different experience. Doesn't the product feel amazing when you're doing it?
There's
completely different
I've ever felt that feels like that. It feels better than after a $350 facial. I've had a $3,000 facial in Miami that someone I've had.
What?
I've traveled to 28 countries. I've done facials and colonics and yoga and learning nutrition in almost 30 countries, and I've never felt this on my skin before. And
it's so luxurious, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like velvet,
so like
but clear, and I'm like,
yeah,
just feel my skin. I just want to go talk.
That's what everybody does. Husbands are always like, honey, feel how soft I am. Men love it.
All day long.
Like, oh my God.
All day long. So
yeah, you can shave with it. You know,
yeah. Oops. We got to get wrapping up anyway, Steph. We're over time and we got to jump over to the group. So here's what we're going to do, you guys. We teased out why this is so important to us. Why is getting away from med spas and the injectables and the surgeries. And I did blepharoplasty. Maybe I could have avoided it if I knew about this company, but it's still only 4 years young. So I've done a lot of the things wrong. And that's why I can sit up here on my beauty pedestal and preach to you with my friend Stephanie, Dr. Rimka, on this would be something I would have started using when I was 15 years old, when people said, take care of your skin. Then this is the preventative for not getting so many lines. This is what everybody needs, and it's affordable, and you can share it with your family. And if you're somebody who's out there listening too, I have a lot of followers who are also in my tribe that are beauty educators and clinicians. Reach out, support@DianeKazer.com, and we can help you build your business with this too. It's not just an MLM. It's
not happy to have a conversation. It's got a great affiliate, you know.
Yeah.
The reality is it works from a teen to I have people who are in their hundreds that we have before and afters. I'm like, you got to be kidding. 80-year-olds, it's insane.
And then
internal regeneration of what it's doing. It's bringing down inflammation and it's healing you at a DNA telomere level.
Did we show the man before and after picture of the hair loss?
No, you didn't. So, and you didn't even show the hair.
Well, okay. So I'll wrap that at the end here, and then we got to get jamming. So there was a picture that you had sent me that a man who had his before and afters of his.
That's my friend Audrey. That was 14 days.
14 days, and he's not spray painting.
This is 90 days. This is not hair. Yeah.
90 days. Sorry.
But I have people like within the first wash, they're like, my hair stopped falling out. Like they were clumps of it coming, and then one wash, they're like, well, it didn't come out. They didn't do the same thing, you know. And then it does start regrowing.
So this is not just for the ladies. There's a couple products that we are recommending men use for their.
Well, all the men can use all the things. Listen, they like to do it. I'm saying you can do everything, but if nothing else, the snow cleanser for men, they love that. They can shave with it, and the hair stuff at a bare minimum.
Literally bare minimum. But there's other things that they can be doing, because I have a lot of men who are asking me, and I'm seeing that they're using the injectables too. It's becoming very.
They want to be pretty. They want to be handsome. Yes.
So you guys join us on the other side. Okay, we're going to go over to our group, which you could join for $1, just to experience who we are, how we help our patients, and all the different things. It's not just this topic that we help people with. Our goal is to help you, provide you with non-toxic solutions that are effective, that are cost effective, and that actually work, and that you're going to see results with, because I do a lot of research before I tell you what to do. Usually there's 99 things I don't do, and then there's the one thing that I do, and then we'll talk about that in the group. So if you're anybody who wants to learn more about this, as well as have any other questions about parasites or detox or growing your own food at home, sovereignty, getting out of the matrix and not paying taxes to a corrupt government. These are all things that we talk about in there. There's so many things that we do. So DianeKazer.com/VIP. It's $1 for your first week. You'll also see Dr. Jack in there once Dr. Rimka and I are done. We're going to jump into that VIP group right now. So if there are skin related questions that you have, or hair loss or hair growth, or anything that you were told is an autoimmune disease, eczema, whatever, those are things that we're going to help answer questions on right now on the other side. So the moment you join the VIP group, which the link is right there below, you're going to get an invitation. And when you get into that first welcome module, it's going to say, here is the link to join and here's the passcode. So we'll see you over there in the last few minutes. Paula, if you could cue up the YouTube video, Dr. Rimka and I are going to hop off right now. If you could cue up that little YouTube video I gave you for the last 2 minutes, that's going to be how we're going to wrap up this show today. And if you're, of course, if you're ever curious about becoming a patient, you could always book at DianeKazer.com/call. All right, that's it for now, you guys. We'll see you next week. And we have several more topics coming up about mold in your home, how to remediate it, how to know if it's a part of your issues. And then we're going to talk about 5G with the 5G weapons expert, Mark Steele. That's coming up. We got more coming up for you guys in the future podcast. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you share the wealth. Make sure you tell everybody you know about the skincare product line. And if they have any questions, they could reach out, support@DianeKazer.com. But start with this skin quiz. And also, we'll see you on the other side. All right. Bye for now. Thanks, Stephanie. Thank you, everybody, for watching. See you in the VIP group.